My name is Harry, and I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here.
Today is June 22nd, 2024. It is 7:23 a.m. This is video number 2. Video number 1 was talking about the irrelevant ones, about the Harry and, Harry's family, the slam downs type of monarchy. So this video, I'm going to focus on the Washington Post. But I just insert one tweet that has to do with a picture that popped up on my thing, but it was kind of funny. It looked like the person just posted it too. So I comment on it, so I'll share it with you. So let's look at the background. It's no different than the last video. The numbers haven't changed, okay? 4,295 subscribers, okay? $165.66 analytics. There's that, okay? So let's go on Twitter. So this one. All right, literally just now I posted this a minute ago. All right, does anyone have the actual link to this post and community note? All right, so I don't know what's going on here, but it looks like one of the images that they put out. Okay, note suggesting context to be shown with the post. Okay, there's this here. There is no independent evidence that the Prince of Wales or his family can actually fly. Is this not helpful? And this is my comment here. Laughing my ass off. OMG. They effed up their reputation while trying to mask some BS narrative. Alright, so that's that with the tweet. So this is the tweet that I want to focus on. On my last video, I said this was gonna be the first one that I talk about, but I saw the other one and I inserted. Alright, so let's focus on the Washington Post saga kind of thing. One down, one more to go. We don't want British tabloid trash in our newsroom. Okay, the Washington Post. Washington Post will not bring in Robert Winnett as its top editor after report raised ethical questions. This is by Oliver Darcy from CNN. I believe I have this in the next tweet. This is a screenshot. It's not the link. The Washington Post said Friday that Robert Winnett, the British journalist who had been, can I see it? Nope, that's it. I can't read the rest. Okay, check this story out on ByLineTime. I also have this, but that will be on a different, the next following tweet, because I have a long list here. All right, let's pause this. Do not let him up. Let's keep calling for that Lewis to go back to island of inequity. Okay, that's right. The US don't need more trashy tabloid in their newsroom. There's the laugh here. 2 more. Lewis brought over a British media woman too. Did he? Who was that? Okay, so 1 down, 2 to go. Praying. Yeah, anyone from the UK needs to go, unless if they had worked with ByLineTime. And then even with that, there still needs to be some really background check on them, because they ruined their reputation. Okay, LOL, knew it, LOL. American newspapers don't play because they will get sued. We are a litigious society, especially when there is blood in the water. Alright, so there's all of this. Then he wasn't even on the bingo card. Then wouldn't these are people to avoid? I don't know. Okay, did Americans stop producing excellent journalism that these media groups stay recruiting from a country with the most unethical journalists in the West? That's what I'm wondering too. Why are they bringing these people over there? Don't we have some good one already here? Or are they hypnotized by the British accent? Isn't it time the Americans can stop acting like the colony of that country, desperate for their attention? Alright, but the thing is that what they want to blind people, because they want the US to be on the same page as them. so they could get positive coverage and all that. It's crazy. And then the question is, do they have something on him where he feel like he has to bring the Brits over here? What do they have on him? Jeff Bezos, that is. Okay, excellent news. Let's keep the pressure on. No British tabloid virus spreading to America like the plague. And look at this. What's the other one that was sued by Dominion? Rupert Murdoch. Okay, he was doing his... One of the things that I said is that if they had left Meghan alone, many American eyes will not be looking over there to see their behavior. But they, because the hateful is so deep within the UK system, they just don't know any better. So they trash Meghan to the point where a lot of people like myself who didn't really follow the institution or the UK news at all made me turn around and take a second look. I've explained this from many other videos. So just like me, many other Americans' eyes have been looking over there, but we kept, many Americans, kept them off shut. But now you coming over here, you think just because many of Americans didn't say anything of what's going on with Meghan and that family, because any well individual who has a platform, who's on TV or something, will not dare talk about that family. Why? Because it's family issues. Even when they try to ask President Obama, and I think Michelle Obama or something at some point, I hear many squad talking about it in some aspect, but I never seen the interview. Maybe I did, but I forgot. Is that they didn't say anything to interfere in the family aspect. Some people were upset about that. Just because we saw the unethical, the savagery that was going on, where they're beating on Meghan, just like any other person who has a platform, who's working in the newsroom, who's doing this, who's doing that, will not dare open their mouth about this because it's technically kind of a family issue. But now, just because many Americans didn't say a thing about it, okay, publicly, they think we accept the BS. That's the thing here. But now, once they come over, they give the green light to start talking about it. This is their mistake again. They're coming over here to insert the same type of tactic in Washington Post. And Washington Post was one of the reputable papers in the US. It, break a lot of stories back in the days and all of that. And they think Americans will shut their mouth because they didn't say anything about Meghan, them trashing Meghan. They think we accepted it. So now they're coming over here. It gives them the green light to go back to the past, the nonsense that they were saying about Meghan, the unethical thing. And then Harry, who's keep on pushing forward with their lawsuit with Rupert Murdoch. It gives them meaning Americans, to talk about the nonsense that's going on. Okay, so the UK, they think they're trying to, mess up the US. And if we don't be careful, they could succeed. But they're really destroying themselves in the process. So now a lot of reputable people putting their, now they have a reason to talk. Why? Because you're coming in our system. You were doing all these unethical things, and now you're coming over here to do the same thing. Okay, so all gloves are off now.
I find it hard to see who is the winner here. I mean, Prince Harry goading the press is only and forcing the press into humiliating payouts is not going to be particularly good for the Sussexes. And it's certainly not great for the press, which is on the hook. I think the total payouts for phone hacking and other illegal information gathering is up to $1 billion, and there are many, many more cases to try. So my point about all this is, I think we only have losers here, and it's in all our interests that we have a strong, vigorous and honest press. And if it was strong, vigorous and honest, I agree that the press would have reported more on the judgment, the Prince Harry judgment that came through on Friday, than it did. It was basically a broadcast story, far more than it was a print story. And of course, the print and broadcast are in competition, so you can sort of understand that. So my question is, who wins out of this? Has Prince Harry done the press lasting damage? Do you think that as a result of the judgment that went against Mirror Group newspapers, we're going to see some sort of state regulation of the press? I genuinely hope not. I don't want the press to be in the last chance saloon at all. I want to see newspapers thrive. This is my industry, and I think it's in all our interests that we have a thrive. And we've got the most wonderful newspapers in the world in this country. You read the newspapers in the States or in France, they're very dull. They're not entertaining at all. I think that we've got the most wonderful newspapers in the world in this country. You read the newspapers in the States or in France, they're very dull. They're not entertaining at all. I think that we can have both a serious and an entertaining press. And that's what I want to see survive. I don't want to see Prince Harry destroy the industry I love.
Now you give American to talk about the things that you have done to Meghan and all of that. It's no longer about a family thing anymore. You're trying to insert yourself in our system. So now we're going back. Okay, so this is the thing here. So for some of the people who were upset about some, high profile people in the US who didn't say anything, there's a reason for that. Okay, they don't want to, if they say something and now, you get meddling into personal things and all that. Look at how they're trying to bring, to get Harry's personal information. The thing is, no, it's private. It's none of our business to get involved in it. It's the same thing with the Harry and Meghan thing in the UK. The US didn't want to get involved in that. But now you're coming in to carry the same unethical behavior that you did in the UK. We saw. Many Americans saw, but they didn't say anything. But you bring it over here. Now we're saying, okay, you're not bringing this over here. Many reputable journalists and all of that are opening them up. If Rachel Maddow look into that, forget it. You guys are over. Because she does her research very well and she will get to the bottom of it. So the UK better be careful. All right. So let me read what's there. That's an ad and then that's it. So Jeff Bezos is going to fire Sally Busby. Okay. So there's that. They need to get rid of Lewis, the main culprit. Why are they protecting him? Or the Washington Post staff should protest. Okay, so that's that. Let's go to the next tweet. Okay, so now we have the CNN thing. Let me make sure. Okay, I didn't want to copy the same thing. Okay, so there's that here. Let's pause. And I think this is taken from something else. This is on my community board. Okay, this screenshot over here is on my community board. You guys could go and read it. The only thing that's not on my community board, I think, is this code of ethic and all of that. I might have it in another one though. The one that I'm talking about was yesterday, which I have these two, but the code of ethic, I didn't put it. I wanted to put more the comments here. But anyway, CNN breaking news. Robert Winnett, the British journalist who was to be the next executive editor of the Washington Post, will no longer join the newspaper. So what they were trying to do here, what Lewis was trying to do, is break Washington Post into different sections. And then each of these sections, he was going to bring his people in, okay, to look over other, the American journalists who's working there, and then to blindfold them. So now the people are saying no. Okay, so that's that. Let's go into the link. Okay, the link of this will be in the description. What is that? Damn, this is not moving. Okay, there it is here. I just want this. Okay, Washington Post will not bring in Robert Winnett as its top editor after report raised ethical question by Oliver Darcy, CNN, June 21st, 2024. That was yesterday. CNN. Let's pause this. Okay, let me move it down so YouTube don't mess me up with this. Any videos that's playing, YouTube will be like, Oh, I'm looking on the side here. Jeff Bezos is under fire at the Washington Post as patience wears. Okay, I'm starting to wonder. They must have something on him. He's just the face of Washington Post, but who's really running the Washington Post? I'm just wondering, what do they have on him for him to feel like he has to bring the UK people over here? If they were good, that would be a different question, but they are unethical. So why is he bringing them here?
We got the most wonderful newspapers in the world in this country. You read the newspapers in the States or in France, they're very dull. They're not entertaining at all. I think that we can have both a serious and an entertaining press. And that's what I want to see survive. I don't want to see Prince Harry destroy the industry I love.
Okay, so let's continue. CNN, The Washington Post said Friday that Robert Winnett, the British journalist who had been slated to take over the newspaper's staff editor, will no longer join the publication that has been ensnared in a weeks-long crisis over ethics question. Quote, "It is with regret that I share with you that Robert Winnett has withdrawn from the position of editor at The Washington Post." The Post embattled publisher and chief executive told staff in a Friday morning memo. Winnett, who had been tapped this month by Lewis to join the Post following the November election, will now remain deputy editor of London's Telegraph newspaper. The decision comes after Winnett's journalistic integrity was questioned in a 3,000 words front page expose published by the Post, which reported that Winnett had previously used materials from a self-described thief for reporting. Wow. Okay, this is the reputation these people had put on themselves. They know the thing is wrong, but they did it anyway. The news Winnett will no longer join the Post comes as the Jeff Bezos-owned publication remained engulfed in turmoil over serious journalistic ethic question facing Lewis, the former Rupert Murdoch lieutenant. There it is. There's the connection. Where did this thing come from? How do I close it? So much ad. All right. Former Murdoch lieutenant who has been accused of helping the right-wing media mogul over for senior executive in a decade-old UK phone hacking scandal. Okay, I'm telling you, the thing that Harry's doing in the UK, he's fighting on. All of this, they're gonna give come January, I believe, is it January or February 2025, where the case is gonna go forward with Harry with the phone hacking. The US will be paying attention to that. Okay, now it's getting people's attention, especially after this with the Washington Post. Lewis has denied wrongdoing, but recently attempted to suppress stories on the matter, according to private accounts from Sally Busby, the former executive editor of the Post, and NPR media correspondent David Folkenflik. Sorry if I pronounce it wrong. The allegations have been revived by a lawsuit from... There it is. You see, this is what I was saying. I didn't even see that. Okay, the allegations have been revived by a lawsuit from Prince Harry and other high-profile figures in a case which is scheduled to be adjudicated in court early next year. That's what I was talking about. Okay, amid question about Lewis' role and the phone hacking scandal, additional reporting has raised concern about his journalistic integrity at large. The Guardian published a story this week accusing Lewis of having once advised the then UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson to clean up his phone during the so-called Partygate scandal. Lewis and Johnson denied the report. Okay, I mean, what you're supposed to hear from these people. Inside the Post newsroom, morale has plunged as staffers express alarm over Lewis' conduct and worry over the future direction of the newspaper under his leadership. Interviews with nearly a dozen Post staffers and others familiar with the internal dynamics of the newspaper this week reveal a workforce that has grown increasingly dismayed by the situation, with some searching for work elsewhere. Wow. They're leaving. They don't want to be part of this. This is what the UK people need to do. But they didn't do it, but instead they saw money. They saw money instead of sticking with integrity. They know it's going in the wrong direction. They don't want to be part of it. And also, the other thing that I see is happening here is that they want to destroy the foundation, the fabric of our media in the US. So they don't really care if they, meaning the Lewis, the people who's behind, because it's not just Washington Post that's doing that. I read other articles where other magazines and newspapers are doing almost the same thing. You'll see in other videos. So pretty much the people who's writing the news, the real news that people will open their eyes and make proper decision, they're leaving. So they don't care. They, meaning the Lewis people, whoever's behind him for hiring him to do this, to make that change, to create form of entertainment.
You read the newspapers in the States or in France, they're very dull. They're not entertaining at all.
Kind of thing. They don't care. So destroying it, it's pretty much what they want to do. So now they're probably going to be hiring young people coming out of college and who's hungry for money, who will do whatever it is that these people want to do. So they're shifting the dynamic of the U.S. paper. The only thing that I see here, if all these journalists put their heads together and create their own newspaper, that's all it is. That's one way. We're in big trouble. Yeah, it's in big trouble. Ethical standard, their reputation is at play here. And cyber, okay, where did I, Lewis, okay, so I'm searching elsewhere, so that's where I was. Patient has also warned then for Honor Bezos, who has yet to address the crisis in a meaningful way. In a short memo to top newsroom leadership Tuesday, Bezos reiterated his commitment to a very high standard, but has yet, if you're keeping the UK people over there, that's not high standard. Okay, that's bringing them to the gutter. I'm telling you, these people are trying to ruin every form of communication. Every publication that is there to give insight, to enlighten people, they want to ruin it. This is what Jeff Bezos is doing here, but has yet to take any meaningful action to quell his newsroom's anger. A spokesperson for Bezos did not respond to requests for comment on Thursday when asked if the Amazon billionaire planned to take any additional steps to right the ship. Thus far, Bezos has tepidly signaled that he is supporting his controversy-plagued publisher, whom he installed into the top role at the Post in January. A new search began. They're digging more. Let's see here. How much more do I have? Okay, it's almost done. A new search begins. Lewis told staffers in his Friday memo that he will immediately launch a new search for a new editor. Lewis said that Matt Murray, the former top editor at the Wall Street Journal, who was brought in to take over on an interim basis after Lewis ousted Busby, will continue in his role. Where was Murray before? Was he somewhat from the UK first and then they bring him to what's that, not Washington Post, where did he say? Wall Street Journal? Yeah, from Wall Street Journal. Okay, Lewis said that Matt Murray, the former top editor at the Wall Street Journal, who was brought in to take over on an interim basis after Lewis ousted Busby, will continue in his role. Lewis' memo laying out the Post's future plans suggested he will remain at the newspaper despite concern from staffers. This week, two Pulitzer Prize winner Post journalists went on the record calling for leadership changes at the newspaper. Okay, quote, I don't know a single person at the Post who thinks the current situation with the publisher and suppose new editor can stand. David Marines, okay? So this is what they're not saying, what is it? What do they, the UK usually call when they're making up their own type of witness? What's the term they use when they don't use the person name? I can't think of it right now. But anyway, so there's someone who came on the record and said, yeah, this what he just said here. An associate editor who has worked at the Post for nearly 5 decades and won 2 Pulitzer Prizes at the newspaper wrote in a candid Facebook post, quote, there might be a few, but very, very few. Mariners also Zang Bezos, writing that he is, quote, not of and for the Post or he will understand. Scott Hyam, another Pulitzer Prize winning journalist at the Post, echoed Marinus' call for Lewis to exit the newspaper. Okay. Will Lewis needs to step down for the good of the Post and the public. Meghan replied in a comment on Marinus' post, quote, he has lost the newsroom and will never win it back. Wow. Independent corporate governance expert has also said Lewis should be shown the door. Wow. Jeffrey Sonnenfeld, the professor and senior associate dean for leadership studies at the Yale School of Management, told CNN on Monday that Bezos should dismiss Lewis. Everybody's saying he has to go. Son Phil, who has advised U.S. President and scores of corporate leaders, said that if he were advising Bezos, he would tell him Lewis has, quote, lost legitimacy to lead and it's time to clean the house. I mean, why is he bringing all these people over there? We already know the nonsense. Well, not all Americans know the nonsense that's going on in the UK. So why is he bringing them here? We saw, so in other words, okay, so now that Murdoch has been outed, okay, he knows the unethical thing that's going on in Fox News, so he cannot buy any other newspapers to, so people will already know the nonsense that he's gonna bring. So instead, they're using other millionaires to do the same thing that Murdoch has been doing. Oh my God, if I was Bezos, stop it now. I don't know what they have on him. Okay, this is a tragic meltdown of the conscience of American journalism, bringing shame to the Katharine Graham, Ben Bradley, Maudie Barron legacy of collaboration, courage, and integrity. Bezos must recruit an accomplished, experienced editor whom journalists admire and trust. This story has been updated with additional development. Okay, the link of this will be in the description. Okay, I talked about this already. Let's pause that. This is a great day for America. UK tabloid style reporting flooded with unethical North Korean style practices has no place in America. America does not need dirty criminal UK tabloid style reporting where truth and integrity are thrown off a cliff to die without conscience. Let's pause this. Great news for American. Is that the same thing? Save America from UK tabloid reporting where truth goes to die a quick death. USA, showing UK tabloid trash reporter literally a cesspool of lies at the door. Okay, good news. Good. Will Lewis, he's next now. All right, Robert Winnett today. What's the reason? Okay, I'll go into that. Maybe this is someone who's in the dark. Unexpected turn. The newsroom shuffle keeps us on our toes. Interesting. There's that. The shade. Good job, Winnett. So let's go into that and then I'll go to the next tweet. He uses thieves to source his stories. Okay, so there's that. Next tweet. Again, there's probably... Okay, this is the one with Brian Cathcart. And I did said I will read that just in case to see if they are saying the same thing. That's ByLineTime. Okay, if for instance they bring Brian Cathcart at Washington Post, guess what? I'll be okay with that. Because throughout the nonsense that's going on in the UK, where people are making millions off of lies, these are the few in the UK that still stick with integrity. Okay, money wasn't the issue. The truth was their issues. They wanted people to know the truth. Brian Cathcart is one of them, at least for now. Okay, I don't know. There might be some residual of UK type. I don't know. But so far, I've been sharing a lot of his tweets with you guys. So far, I'm in a really positive with him. Because I think he was a professor and he teaches that and all of that. Alright, so let's see it. While US journalists pounce on 2 British newspaper executives accused of involvement in Murdoch scandals, the UK press won't touch the story of the 5 current editors right here who are in a similar position. By me for Byline. Okay, so that's him who's talking about that. Okay, great article. Accountability occurs because Americans speak up. That's for sure. Okay, that is what we do to influence change. Why are Brits silent on those criminals in the UK media? It will never get better. That's right. Not for them one bit if they do nothing to those media crooks saturating the British royal family and upper echelon of UK society. This is why they are in the mess that they are. It seems like they rather stay hungry. Not all, okay? Not all. Some. They rather stay hungry, no heat and all of that to maintain that status quo. I don't understand. Okay? American culture is all about rebellion and challenges authority. British culture is rooted in kowtowing to those with power and prestige. That clearly plays out in the newsroom as well. Alright, corrupt and biased British press, nothing but lies and propaganda. Brits seems to love misery. That's exactly that. Look what I just said a few minutes ago. I didn't even see this comment. Brits seems to love misery. They love watching British royal family living in luxury and reading news that are gathering unethically. I don't know. That's pretty much sums up me right now. It seems that this is the way they are. The U.S. journalist doesn't work in fear. They are pathetic. That's a different tweet, by the way. The U.S. journalist doesn't work in fear. That's one tweet. Another tweet said they are pathetic. There's a thumbs up and clap and tag someone here. So now let's go into that. The link of this will be in the description. Did I already put it? Yes, I already put it. Will Lewis and the Washington Post, real journalists don't ignore the failing of their own industry the way the UK press does. Okay, let's see how long is that. Okay, let's get to it. Okay, I don't want to just play it because if I just play it, it will see just copyright. Let me just read it. Okay, Will Lewis may not be well-known name in the UK, but he is getting to be quite famous in the United States, if not in a good way. He is a journalist, and in fact, he is really Sir Will Lewis since he received his knighthood last year and Boris Johnson's resignation honor list. You can tell a lot from that. Lewis was once editor of The Telegraph, but shifted into management in the Murdoch Empire when the phone hacking scandal was erupting there. Okay, so that's a very good background of him. Very good. I'm glad that I'm reading that. He now works for Amazon billionaire Jeff Bezos as publisher of the venerable Washington Post. Whatever Bezos might say publicly, he must, in retrospect, be regretting the appointment. Alright, thanks to that Murdoch connection, Lewis is now turning into an ethical test case for American journalism. That's very true. And not only in the Post big rival, the New York Times making hay with stories about his past, but the Post itself is also publishing investigative work. While this is reminding Americans just what an ethical sewer the UK, I'm telling you, it is a sewer. While this is reminding Americans just what an ethical sewer the UK national press is, there is also a lesson in it for the British media. That's right. Real journalists report on scandal in their own industry, even their own publication, because failure to do so harm everyone. This is why I love to read his work. This is exactly that. I don't know why the UK don't see that. I mean, he saw it, he's in the UK, but the vast majority of people don't see that. Some of the things that you see other people are going through, you yourself are in the crosshair. Okay, if they could do that to one, what do you think about you? Okay, so let's continue. At its briefest, what Lewis is accused of is that A, he played a leading role in the attempted cover-up of phone hacking in the Murdoch papers. B, he paid money for a scoop. And C, that he has now appointed as executive editor of the Post another British journalist who himself is accused of past involvement in hacking. As if that was not bad enough, at least in the eyes of many American journalists, he is also now charged with D, doing his best to suppress in very questionable ways the reporting of this accusation in the US media. This is the thing here. The past, the things that happened in the past, they don't want it to be coming in the US, but the US is saying, yes, now we have a reason to talk about your past. Before we did not, but now we do. Okay, Lewis and his appointee as executive editor, Robert Winnett, both deny wrongdoing. 5 editors and a blind eye. If you wanted to see proof of the ethical gulf that separates US newspaper culture from UK newspaper culture, you could not ask for better than this story, because consider this: the current editors of no fewer than 5 UK national newspapers either stand accused of having employed unlawful methods to gather information or have been found by judges to have done so. This wall of honor includes the editors of the Time, Tony Gallagher, and of its sister paper, the Sunday Times, Ben Taylor. And it is not just, as I'm reading this, I'm thinking, you know, all those headlines we're seeing that Charles wants to stop the feud. I don't know if it's in here or if I shared it already on my community board, where Charles wants to, it's just a screenshot of something that I came across, wants to see, has some sort of, if the feud stop, he has something for Harry or something like that. And I said, Harry doesn't have any problem with Charles. Harry has problem with the paper. So is Charles the paper? Because this is huge. Now the eyes are going to be paying attention come January 2025 of the lawsuit that's happening. So he wants Harry to stop it so people don't look at it. Because their plan is to sneak into the U.S. system and to continue the unethical things. And whatever is happening in the U.K., the American system, the journalists gonna be paying attention to it. Right, to see how bad it is over there. Okay, and it is not just anyone who has made the accusation against Gallagher and Taylor. They form part of a huge breach of privacy case brought against the Mail newspapers by, among others, Baroness Doreen Lawrence, former Liberal Democrat MP, and Minister Sir Simon Hughes, Prince Harry, and Elton John. Also accused are Victoria Newton, editor of The Sun, David Dillon, editor of The Mail on Sunday. All four deny the accusation, or at least they are denied on their behalf by the Mail Group. As for the fifth, Gary John, editor-in-chief of the Express newspapers, he has been found by not one but two High Court judges to have been very deeply engaged in law breaking. Whereas in the United States, Will Lewis is challenged about his past. Even on the front of his own newspaper, nothing comparable is happening to this five editors in the UK. Neither their own newspapers nor their supposed rival in the press report these issues, and nobody else in the mainstream news media seems to care. Indeed, both Rishi Sunak and Keir Starmer are both happy to meet and deal with them, while the owners of the Mirror Reach continue employ John as if nothing was wrong. When I decided the UK national press as an ethical sewer, this is what I mean. This is not the case of dog doesn't eat dogs. It is dog covering up for dog. Hacking was a 20-year spree of law-breaking involving hundreds of journalists and spreading across lots of titles. The failure to address it is a conspiracy of journalists against the public. That is very true. It should not be necessary to explain why it is important for journalists to report on things that go wrong in their own industry, and yet it obviously is, so here we go.
I want to see newspapers thrive. This is my industry, and I think it's in all our interests that we have a thrive. And we've got the most wonderful newspapers in the world in this country. You read the newspapers in the States or in France. They're very dull. They're not entertaining at all.
A duty and a privilege. Journalists, whether it is individually for their particular news organizations or as an industry, must tell the truth. It is their job to bear witness to events. Of course, they can't report everything. And of course, the matter of selection inevitably involves in the introduction of bias. Again, this is where I usually say perspective. Okay? Which way you see it. Some people will, let's say the number 6, some people will stand at the lower part and another one will stand on the upper part. One will see a 9, the other one will see a 6. So you have to report what you see. Okay, I've always said that it's based on perspective, so people could at least make their own conclusion, but don't create nonsense that's not even there. That's the problem with the UK. Okay, oh damn, I want to point where I'm at, but I don't want this thing to pop up. But there remain a duty, an obligation to try as harsh as possible to present an honest view of the world to readers and viewers, withholding what you know to be news from those readers and viewers in a circumstances and a clear departure from that duty and a breach of trust. That's for sure. It is doubly wrong for journalists to withhold damaging information about their own industry.
I want to see newspapers thrive. This is my industry.
They are the people entrusted by the public with that mission to report the truth, and what's more, they are happy to claim that this gives them a special place in society with special right and protection. They also have special access to powerful megaphones, newspapers, TV station, social media, and communicate what they have to tell. And this is the part where the UK have hijacked. Okay, they hijacked every form of communication, and then they're telling lies. They're telling lies, and the people don't see it, don't see the truth. Okay, so now that this is all out, I don't know what the UK is gonna do. My goodness. And we are in the beginning of it in the US. I mean, we were in it. We had Fox News who've been there for a very long time. But came 2020 election, American was like, nope, you're not gonna take this and lie, this kind of thing. It's because people stood up. We went online to vote despite the pandemic. There were too many people online to vote for them to carry out their scheme. If they had carried out the scheme, people stay home, then go vote and all of that, there will this will come in a vast. We will be flooded in that. I'm telling you, the American people are fighting their own way. The elected people who they trusted, who gave them the people gave them their vote to protect their right and all of that, they turn a blind, many of them, not all, many of them turn a blind eye on the people, but the people are still fighting. This is the thing that the UK need to understand. Okay, and some of them I documented, like when I went to vote. I didn't show you everything because privacy kind of thing, but I showed you when I went to vote, and I talk about where I want to go vote early. I didn't, because it was in the midst of the pandemic. I didn't want to be in contact with so many people, so I went to vote early, and it was empty. Okay, I didn't want to stand online during the day of. All right, so let's continue. So people are fighting, okay? Failing to report on the industry's failure is therefore more than covering up. It is an abuse of special position that journalism enjoy in our society, and those privileges and powers that journalists have. This is like, for instance, when you look at in Washington, they usually have briefing. I think it's almost every day or maybe once a week. I don't remember how often they have that. They have newsroom in the White House where to inform the people what's going on. And you have all those journalists in the room asking questions and all of that. Let's continue. This is all the worse because by collectively concealing the facts, the industry is uniquely able to fool most people most of the time, and so give itself immunity from responsibility. Yep, that's exactly that. The blindfold. What is happening in the UK journalism today, the refusal of so many leading news organizations to report on and investigate a scandal of vast dimension, is or should be shaming to everyone in the industry. It is not good enough to say media is not my path, and it is downright disgraceful to say that dog doesn't eat dog, because every day trust in all journalism is being corroded, and that way everybody loses. That is true. Democracy dies in darkness. Exactly, is the slogan of the Washington Post. The newspapers promise that it will fight to keep the light switch on, while the Post journalists, this I didn't know. Very good. I didn't even know, and I'm in the US. While the Post journalists are doing just that, in the case of Will Lewis, literally thousands of journalists in the UK national press, by their failure to act as well as through their action, are conspiring to turn the light off. That's oh my God, this is a beautiful article. Especially the last one, the last paragraph. This is exactly that. Okay, the link will be in the description. I read the tweets already, so let's go back to Twitter, and then I read all of this already, so let's go to the next tweet. That's also Brian Cathcart. That's a different one here. He retweeted this person here. Meanwhile, in the UK, Tony Gallagher is accused in a court action of doing very similar things, but somehow keeps his job as editor of The Time of London. He tagged that, okay, The Time and the Sunday Time, okay, of London. Ethics and standard not getting in the way of the British press. And of course, Winnett remains deep ed at the UK Telegraph. He tagged them, saying the ethics in these places. Okay, protection racket. There's that. All right, what is this? He retweeted that. Okay, after uproar. So this is NPR. That's in the US here. He retweeted the NPR thing here. After uproar over ethics, new editor of Washington Post Robert Winnett won't take the job, whether his pal and patron Washington Post publisher Will Lewis, who face equal scrutiny, hang on, remain uncertain. My story for NPR. Okay, I'm gonna click on it, but I'm already 40 something minutes. Did I read that already? All right, so do I have to pay for it? Is a decent read. I don't know if, no, that's a little bit more recent. Okay, the link will be in the description. You guys go read it. Okay, let's read some of the comments here. Jacobin on Mockingbird hustling is almost amusing. Only NPR most committed comrade might care. David Fuckenflick just said it. Robert Winnett and Sir Lewis are pals. I mean, what did you expect? He's gonna bring his people. That is the problem. They all come from the same elite, incestuous community. The world has had enough of the Alison Pearson. We need thinkers with integrity, which excludes the UK, West RM, toxic British media. Okay, that Washington Post even considering him for the job is disturbing. Thank you. That's what I'm wondering too. You don't bring someone like him in without the intention of leading the outlet in a particular direction. This is the thing. People see what's going on. It used to be such a great newspaper, such a shame. Okay, so that's an ad. The Nobody Marison wrote is rejecting the transfusion. I love it. When journalists tap into their linguistic, surgical, precise metaphors, what a great sentence. After guarding the rear flank of Boris Johnson, he cannot claim to be seeking of the truth. Some people saw what was going on. I predict that David Folkenflik will write this story. Okay, we need more activists like you. Thank you for reporting on this mess. We know about this because you're reporting. Thank you for all you do to keep us informed. That's the thing here. Highlight of sort, quote, the staff is rightly and fearlessly investigating and questioning the act of its publisher and supposed next editor whose refusal to answer all questions is inexcusable and unacceptable. The other issue, the move does not resolve Lewis' status. Why British men? How about not really hiring white men to lead newsroom? I mean, once you start using the color part, that's a problem. Okay? Just any other people. But those from the UK, it could be women as well. Okay? Why not just pick someone in the US? Okay, how about not really hiring white men to lead newsroom in the US? It's 2024. How about newsroom not just paying lip service to diversity, but actually letting it steer the ship? I sort of agree with that and disagree. What about someone who's qualified in the US? What about that? Majority of the people that in the UK, they're not qualified to lead the US thing. But only someone who is qualified. Use the word qualified, not white men or whatever. There's some men who fight for women's rights as well. From the Post, quote, the New York Times also report that Winnett and Lewis had based some stories on stolen records and raised new questions about a payment made to obtain information. Okay, I believe Bezos is actually interested in reinventing the newspaper as he reinvent book sales and then retail. But we already have a figure, or how do you call this? Example those people have lead to in the UK. So we don't want that same type. Okay, that third division will become the idea lab. Okay, anybody responded? Okay. People who think a London accent is instant credibility, guess they are learning that is not the case. Also, perhaps not always a reflection of unimpeachable ethics or morals. Can sound nice to many American ear though. You see, this is the thing here. The UK have their reputation have destroyed itself, especially what they've done to Harry and Meghan. Okay, a thread I just don't understand. I mean that seriously, David. I don't find it particularly difficult to be ethical. I'm not portraying myself as an angel, but I find that life goes considerably better if one doesn't lie. That's the thing here. There must be integrity in journalism, or our republic will no longer be as designed. That's pretty much that. Some garbage still in, some garbage out. WaPo can't afford to darken its reputation because of Lewis. Okay, thank you for your outstanding reporting on this all-important issue. Grateful. Thank you for exposing this history of lacking journalistic integrity by the Washington Post hires. I sure hope the Washington Post will continue to be a credible source of news. Excellent, David. Congrats. More about Stone Cipher and her vetting, the missing piece, and the puzzle. I feel like maybe, let's see. Let's read some of it. Okay. So that was when? June 21st, yesterday. Beset by crisis, Washington Post chief executive and publisher Will Lewis, picked to be its lead editor, Robert Winnett, has withdrawn from the job as Lewis seeks to salvage his own tenure at the newspaper. Lewis said he will start a process to name a replacement, step he did not take in announcing his old friend Winnett to the job less than 3 weeks ago. The ethical record of both men have come under withering scrutiny in recent days. Lewis worked with Winnett at the Sunday Times in Britain in the early 2000s after Lewis was named the youngest editor in the Daily Telegraph history. He hired Winnett there. The two men, both Brits, work hand in glove and won accolade in the UK for their scoop. Yet NPR, the New York Times, and the Post have reported on a parade of episodes involving both men and conduct that will board under professional ethic codes at major American news outlets, including the Post. The incident include paying a six-figure sum to secure a major scoop, planting a junior reporter in a government job to obtain secret and even classified documents, and relying on a private investigator who used subterfuge to secure people's confidential record and documents. The investigator was later arrested. Wow. Okay, so this is a background of how they get their prize-winning reporting kind of thing. It was unethical. Neither Winnett nor Lewis has responded to requests by journalists, including at the Post, for comment on this episode. The Post had set up a dedicated team to report on the two men under Cameron Barr, a retired senior managing editor at the paper. Quote, "It is with regret that I share with you that Robert Winnett has withdrawn from the position of editor at the Washington Post," Lewis wrote in a message to the Post newsroom Friday. Quote, "Rob has my greatest respect and is incredibly talented editor and journalist." Winnett is currently deputy editor of the Telegraph Media Group in the UK, where he will stay. Stay there, don't come over here. Quote, "He's a talented chap and their loss is our gain," Telegraph editor Chris Evans said in the memo. Why does Chris Evans keep on... Okay, maybe it's the wrong person I'm thinking. Let's continue. The move does not resolve the status of Lewis, who is also contending with allegation in Britain that he helped protect executive at Rupert Murdoch's tabloid following a massive hacking scandal years ago. Lewis has been named in court documents filed by lawyers for Prince Harry and other victims. I wrote about those accusations in December. Oh, I may not read that, but I'll leave the link for you guys. Oh shit, you went straight to it. Let me pause for a second, grab it, and go back to where I was. Okay, so that link is in the description. Okay, that was back in 2023. I wrote about those accusations in December, just before Lewis started at the Post. He had pressured me not to publish the story and even offered me an exclusive interview if I dropped it. He also tried to discourage the Post from covering. Did I read this in another video? That sounds familiar. So let me read what's there and then, move to the next tweet. Okay, a distrustful newsroom. Journalists throughout the paper have told NPR they are outraged, saying the two men's actions, while illustrative of the ferociously competitive world of British newspapering, violate principles held dear at the Post. So in other words, the type of way of reporting in the UK, unethical ways, is not acceptable over here. So in other words, they don't want this type of style of investigative over here. And then let's not forget, these people in a heartbeat, they throw you under the bus, all right, to save themselves. This is the thing that I've learned in the UK. Okay, a highly regarded Post writer and associate editor, David Marinis, recently expressed disgust in the Facebook post. Okay, I feel like I just read this. Am I reading this twice? I think I just read that. Or maybe they're just reporting similarly. So that was one of the things I was looking for, why I wanted to read some of these articles to see if they're reporting the same thing. So apparently they are. But I'll leave the link in the description. This is where I stop. I think this is pretty much repeating some of the other things. I think it was New York Times. What was the other one? CNN. Okay, I read CNN about the Washington Post and that one. Okay, so I read that. Let me go to my last tweet, and that's New York Magazine. What is this about? Let's see. So there's the I guess this is the thing that I was talking about. I made reference to. He needs to get a job and stay away from them. Why does he want to see them? So he can report back to his fellow racist Kate Middleton that their melanin is not threatening the monarchy of whiteness. Okay, so this is New York Magazine. King Charles is desperate to see the American grandkids he evicted. Despite snubbing Prince Harry last month, the monarch is reportedly trying to arrange a visit with Archie and Lilibet either at Balmoral Castle or in California. So if he wants to see them, come to the US. Okay, at a mutual place, maybe, and Harry and Meghan's castle. He could eat his heart out to see the place that they live in. Okay, so that's that. And this is the kind of nonsense they're gonna blindside people if, Washington Post get its way. All right, nonsense. People, who cares about that? If he wants to do it, he could do it. So there's me here. Okay, these are recycled BS from the UK, and they're printing them over here. They tested it on the Brits to see how the peasants take it. Brit gave thumbs up, so it's okay for the US. No, we don't want. Okay, we don't feel the kind of sympathy you're looking for. Go sit somewhere and take care of your cancer. Leave them alone. All right, so that's that. She point here. Charles and Willie leaked media dog, royal voter rats, and crown critters are not selling their tabloid rags using current boring blend royal family. So they are pushing Charles to get his grubby sausage fingers on Harry and Meghan's children to scapegoat. Charles is a disgusting human being. So what he wants is probably to take the kids. If Harry dare bring the kids over there before the lawsuit goes, he's probably gonna, let's say, okay, Harry let his guard down and bring the kids over there. He's gonna hold the kids, okay? Hold the kids until that lawsuit is dropped. Okay, there's that. King Charles reportedly won't give special birthday gifts to Lilibet until royal feud. And I think someone had retweeted that someplace else. And I was like, Harry doesn't have any problem with them, with Charles. Harry had trouble with the British media. So is Charles the media? Oh my God. So there's all of this. There's that. It was weird seeing... Okay, this thing is nasty. Okay, it was... Damn, where I stopped it. It was weird seeing several articles this weekend saying how white Kate looked. She wore a white dress, but why say it that way? He will have to travel to California. That's what I'm thinking. Okay, and Camilla is going with the... Okay, and Camilla is going with the king. I don't know. Probably Harry will say, no, this has nothing to do with Camilla. He could come to she could come to the US, but if they're gonna meet, Camilla has nothing to do with that. Okay, ignore Charles. He isn't worth bothering about. If he didn't care when Harry was young and still living in the UK, he should stop pretending he cares now that Harry lives abroad. Talk is cheap, and so is Charles, except when it comes to Camilla and Andrew. The headline did not hold back. That's true. Charlie, you are so fake. There's a laugh. Okay, Charles isn't desperate to see the Sussex kid. He's the reigning monarch in the UK, and he can arrange protection and accommodation at the snap of his sausage finger. Please, let not be fooled by this attempt to make him endearing to the greater public. Yeah, that's all. He wants sympathy in the US. But the headline, the way it was reading, King Charles is desperate to see, and they put it in quote too, desperate to see the American grandkids he evicted, okay? He evicted them. They make sure to add it. Despite snubbing Prince Harry last month, the monarch is reportedly trying to arrange a visit to with Archie and Lilibet, either at Balmoral Castle or in California. Alright, so the kids stay where they are. Alright, so that's it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, let's see here. Yeah, where is that? That's something else. There's this here. What is this about? Oh, I shared that already. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. And if you also want to support my channel, check my merch and see if you like some of these things that I have there. Thank you for watching. And by the way, before I forget, come next week, in a week and a half, we're gonna go on vacation. Hopefully I have enough videos for you guys while I'm gone. So if you don't see any video, that's because I'm away. Okay, so that's it. Thank you for watching.
Avanaka. It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
As you saw me find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.